Here's a story time of what my mom's husband told me after burying my grandmother. A little backstory if you haven't seen my other videos. My mom's husband is European. So he's very, I'm better than you because I'm white and blah, 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 whatever. Also, when I moved back with my mom, I was like 13 years old because I grew up with my grandmother. My grandmother had to send me money to buy toothpaste, toilet paper, soap because I couldn't use the ones he bought because, you know, he bought that with his money even though we all lived in the same house, but okay. Anyways, my grandmother passed away in June. So literally 2 hours after my grandmother passed away, I was staying in a hotel with my cousin and his boyfriend. And I go to the hotel, I take a shower, and I have this black Skims dress. So I was like, I don't know what to put on. So that dress is like super tight on me. Obviously, if you own a Skims dress, you know how it looks. Mind you, this is someone that has been with my mom since I was in my mom's womb. Okay? Anyways, I take a shower, put on the dress, and then my cousin picks me up and drops me off at my mom's house, and then he goes and does something else, and then he picks me up. Literally within 20 minutes of that, I'm like with my mom, just talking, whatever, because I don't have a relationship with her, but her mom just died, my grandmother just died, so whatever. Her husband is there. She has like this little, it's like a balcony type in Dominican Republic, so he's there sitting down, he's drinking a beer, whatever, and I like walk past him. So basically he's here and I walk like this, walk past him. Disclaimer, I never thought he would say something like this because he has 2 daughters with my mom. And he literally saw my mom give birth to me. He's Portuguese and he's from Portugal, and he said, if I was in my time, I would definitely hit that, but in like his, you know, way in Portuguese. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't think anything bad of it at the time. Like, I kind of just like brushed it off. But now I'm like sitting down and I'm thinking about that, and that is like the grossest thing ever. I'm sitting here and I'm blaming myself. Like, I'm thinking about it and I'm blaming myself because why didn't I say anything at the time? I think I was more like in shock and kind of just like, I mean, my grandmother just died, so I just kind of like brushed it off. But yeah, I'm just thinking here, like, how gross is that? Someone that knows you. Mind you, I'm 25, almost 26. So he's known me for 26 years. And I'm so glad my mom gave me away when I was 3 months old because who knows?
I'm going to tell you guys a crazy story time while I get ready. I've been wanting to tell you guys this for so long, but I wasn't sure if I was like allowed to talk about it or anything. So basically, let's fast forward to October of last year. So I went out for my best friend's birthday at a club in Montreal. And I brought with me a good old fake YSL bag. And this wasn't just like a really good fake bag. This was like a horrible fake. Like, it was really bad. My sister's friend gave it to her and I took it. And I brought it with me to the club. At said club, I left it at the booth with my wallet, my cards, my keys, pretty much everything that made me a person. And while one thing led to another, you can assume what happened. It got stolen. Now, the funny thing about when it got stolen is very weird. When I noticed it got stolen, I think it was within like 20 minutes, and I blocked my debit card right away. And I was looking, and I saw that there was attempt of charges at like Co-op West Island. And for those of you that don't know, Co-op West Island is essentially just a taxi service in the West Island. So I had assumed that it would be someone who stole it. Definitely was from the West Island. But whatever, it was my fault. I was the one that left my bag. I take full responsibility. I obviously report that my bag is missing. Not like the police are actually going to be able to do anything. Now, fast forward 6 months later, we still have a mailbox open for my grandfather. Even though he passed away, we still have it open. And my dad went to go check it one day, and then he opens the box, and there it is, my keys. My keys at the time had these tags on it that would deliver it or ship it to your house or something like that. It's basically like a key protection thing. So if you find someone's keys, just drop them in the mailbox, and it'll somehow get back to them. That happened 6 months later. My keys were returned, but on my wallet, my bag, I had all my friends' car keys in that bag. Everything I owned was in that bag. Let's fast forward to August. I came home from vacation and I ordered myself an iPad. With said iPad, I was going to have it shipped to my house, but I wasn't home because it was such an expensive product. Purelator already technically ships it back to the company, and then you have to go and pick it up. I received a notification that my package had been attempted to be shipped, but I wasn't home, so now it's at Purelator, so I have to go pick it up. Not a problem. I've done that with pretty much all my things, my iPhone, all that stuff. So this wasn't very new to me. So I pull up the next day, and I walk in, and I'm like, hi, like, I'm here for my package, and the girl goes, oh, someone already picked it up. So I was like, what? I was like, excuse me, like, aren't I supposed to give you a photo ID, like, that matches the address on file? She goes, no, we just need, like, an ID, like, with the address or something like that. And I started freaking out, and I was like, wait a minute, you gave my iPad away to someone else that had my ID. am I hearing this correct? She's like, yeah, this happens all the time. You need to call the police. So first I call my dad, bawling my eyes out. I'm like, Dad, like someone stole my iPad. But I wasn't even worried about that. I was worried about the fact that someone had my ID and somehow knew that I ordered an iPad and it was shipped to Pure later. Someone who was there that night that my stuff got stolen somehow knew about this. So we call the police and come back for part 2. Welcome back to part 2 of my story time of how my iPad got stolen. So the cops, I call the police and I'm like, hi, like someone stole my iPad and I was told to call the police, whatever. They obviously didn't show up that day because, well, they have more important stuff to deal with. So I came back the next day and I skipped school and I waited 5 hours for the cops to show up. Finally, the cops show up and I'm talking to them and we're just kind of going over like all the details and everything. He goes back in to talk to the cashier and keep in mind, my dad came to the Pure later the day before, and he walked in with me. We went to go talk to the cashier, and my dad was like, why would you give away an iPad to someone else? It literally says on the package, you cannot give it away without a photo ID with the address. She goes, oh, this happens like all the time. Like, no. Excuse me, why does this happen all the time? Why aren't you checking ID? My name had to be on that ID, along with the picture and my address. So why would you give it out? Whatever, my dad obviously got mad at the lady, and the same lady was working the next day. So the cop goes to talk to her, and he's like, you have to stay outside. So I was like, okay, I'll stay outside. So he goes to talk to her, and he's asking about, like, what happened and everything. It was the same cashier that I had spoken to that day and whatever. And I asked her, I was like, are you the one who did it? She's like, no, it wasn't me, whatever. She talks to the cop. The cop is like, explain to me the story. She goes, someone walked in with her learner's permit. My learner's permit. My freaking learner's permit. Someone walked in with my learner's permit and was like, hi, I'm here to pick up an iPad. And the cashier later was like, oh, like, this is weird, like, no, like, something about my address. I didn't really understand what the cop was saying. It was in French. And then a cashier was like, I need something else, like, with your address on it. Like, do you have another form of ID? And then the person was like, no, all I have is my learner's permit. And apparently she went back into her car for 20 minutes and then came up with this, like, fake Hydro-Quebec bill with my address on it. Keep in mind, I'm 20. I don't pay that. So then she comes back and she shows the Hydro-Quebec bill and she goes, here you go. And then the lady's just like, oh, that's like all I needed. It's not like your photo doesn't match the person's photo on the ID or anything. Here's a freaking $1,000 iPad. So I lost my iPad. And the cops have been working on it for like a couple months now. I haven't really heard much. From what I've heard and what they believe, they think that it's all about Pure later. I thought that it was someone that I knew that stole the iPad. At first, I was like fully convinced it was someone I knew because I posted on my private story I was getting an iPad. They knew that I had to go pick it up at Pure later. They were there the night that my stuff got stolen. It was just like really weird. Like I was convinced it was this person. But the cops confirmed that it wasn't. So slay. But I still think it's really weird how this person had my learner's permit, knew that my iPad was coming in from Pure later, and then picked it up. Keep in mind, 10 minutes before I got there. Like I said, I haven't really heard much. This happened like 5 months ago. But the cops have basically told me they believe it's a Pure later inside situation. So that's my little story time. I did get a new iPad in the end, but it was just like an unfortunate situation.
Am I wrong for showing up to my husband's doctor appointment? My husband has been dealing with some health issues the past few weeks and has been frequently visiting the doctor. I asked if I could go with him, but he refused, saying it wouldn't be necessary. And when I asked why he wouldn't want me with him, he said he felt more comfortable having privacy with his doctor. I jokingly asked if the doctor was a woman, and he glared at me. I anticipated his next doctor appointment and decided to go meet him there. He went, and 10 minutes later, I entered the office. I identified myself as his wife, and he was shocked when he saw me. I greeted his doctor, a man, LOL, and we talked, but my husband refused to even look my way and refused to speak to me as well. We left the office together, and he went off on me in the car, saying I shouldn't have followed him and came into the doctor office after he asked me for some privacy. He said I overstepped his one boundary and made him more stressed than he already is